Okay, so now we're going to discuss interest rate risk management. But before we start with risk management, you need to understand what exactly is hedging. So once you have understood hedging, then we will go into specifically interest rate futures, options, swaps, and forward rate agreements. How are these instruments used to hedge interest rate risk? So what is hedging? Hedging against investment risk means strategically using financial instruments or market strategies to offset the risk of any adverse price movements. So basically, hedging is like an insurance policy. If there is a fire set at your place, then in exchange you will get money. So same thing happens in hedging. If there is a loss on your financial instrument, you will be gaining an equal profit on another financial instrument that will cover up your loss. But the opposite will also hold true. So if there will be extra profit, then that will be covered by a loss that the other instrument is going to give to you. So basically, investors hedge one instrument by making trade in another. And in this case, we're going to use the example of futures. So this will become more clear after you go through this example. So suppose that it uh, is, sorry, this should be now. It is now January 15th, and a copper fabricator knows it will require 100,000 pounds of copper on May 15 to meet a certain contract. The spot price of copper is 340 cents per pound, and the future price for May delivery is 320 cents per pound. Each contract is a delivery of 25,000 pounds of copper. So the first question is that what position should he take? You have already studied that there are two positions. One is long, which relates to buying future contracts, and the other one is related to short. That means that whatever is the underlying instrument, you're going to sell it. And in long, whatever is the underlying instrument, you're going to buy it when the future contract ends. So now a copper fabricator knows it will require 100,000 pounds of copper. It will require. That means he wants to purchase the 100,000 uh, pounds of copper later on. So the position that he should take is long. What should be the number of contracts? Now over here it was mentioned that one contract is of 25,000 and he requires 100,000 pounds of copper. Now if he wants to hedge his position completely, that would mean that 100,000 and one contract is of 25,000, he will have to purchase four future contracts. So he will have to go long in four contracts. Okay, so now let's see what happens at different prices. So suppose that the spot price of copper May 15 proves to be 325 cents. Now remember that in your futures contract, you have agreed a price of 320 cents per pound. So regardless of whatever is the price, you have fixed that you will purchase it for 320 cents per pound. Now, how does this work in reality? Now, if the price is actually 325 and your contract allows you to purchase it for 320, first you should think that is this a profit or is this a loss? Think that you can buy it for 320, whereas everybody else will have to purchase it at 325. Of course, this is a profit. Profit of 5 cents per pound. Now, usually what happens is that in the futures market, when the time for delivery comes, people usually close out their position without taking delivery. Reason being because you're purchasing the future, you're going long in the future on the stock market. Now, another person who's going to provide that copper, he might be anywhere in the country. So the cost of carrying, the cost of transportation might be too high. So people actually prefer to close out the position and not actually take the delivery in majority of the cases. So what is the profit in the futures position? 100,000 pounds of copper, and now you can see we have converted into dollars. Okay, so do not get confused. Basically 320 cents means $3.2 and this means $3.25. So like we said that you have made a profit of 5 cents. So that means you have made a total profit of 5,000. You have already studied this in the previous videos if you go through them, that if you have gone long and you want to calculate your profit, the payoff function in that case is your spot minus whatever is the futures price. So it's the same formula over here. You have just multiplied it by the amount, the quantity. So this is the profit that you get in the futures position. Now, what will happen in the copper market? In the copper market, the person will have to pay 100,000 at the 3.258 because this is the rate prevailing in the market. So if he goes to the market on May 15 to purchase copper, he will have to pay 3.25, and that would mean he will have to purchase copper for 325,000. But what will be his net payment? His net cost will be 325,000. This is the amount that he has to pay, but he got a profit of 5,000 from his futures position. So that means his net amount will be negative 320,000. And this is the price that you had said, right? You had said that you will purchase 100,000 pounds of copper at 320. So this is exactly what happened in the end. Now, suppose that the spot price of copper of May 15th proves to be 305 cents per pound. Now, again, think your contract allows you to purchase it for 320, whereas in the market, you can purchase it at 305. So you have to purchase it at the higher price. That means you have made a loss on your futures contract. So loss in the futures position can be calculated this way. You have to purchase it for 3.2, whereas everybody else will be purchasing it for 3.05. That means you've made a loss on your futures, negative 15,000. However, because the price prevailing and the futures market is 305 cents, when you go to the market to purchase it, you will be able to purchase copper at 3.05. However, your net position, your net cost is still the same because okay, you paid less to purchase copper, but you made loss in your futures contract. So again, you can see that your net cost is the same. So this is hedging. Basically, your profit and your loss, both are kind of now fixed at one place. Your cost is fixed at one place. Now, because you have hedged your position, most likely you're not going to bear a lot of loss, but you will also have to let go of the extra profit in this case. Now, this is example number 2. So an oil producer has negotiated a contract to sell 1 million barrels of crude oil. Suppose that on May 15, the spot price is 80 per barrel and the crude oil futures price for August delivery is 79. Each futures contract is for the delivery of 1,000 barrels. So what position should you take? What should be the number of contracts? So again, you need to first discuss that what position should he take. So he is an oil producer who has a contract to sell 1 million barrels of crude oil, which means that he wants to sell the crude oil in the future. That would mean that he wants to sell the underlying instrument. So that means he would have to go short. And how many number of contracts? So the total amount that he wants to sell is 1 million. And one futures contract is for the delivery of 1,000 barrels. So that means 1,000 contracts. He needs to short 1,000 contracts. Now again, what is the future price? The future price is set at 79 per barrel. Now the delivery month is over here. So suppose that the spot price on August 15 proves to be 75 per barrel. Now remember, your contract is of 79 and now you're talking about short. So that means that you can sell your oil for 79, whereas everybody else will be selling it for 75. So that's a good thing, right? You can sell it for a higher price, and that means that you have made a profit in this scenario. So what is the gain realized in the futures contract? This is the amount of oil, 79 minus 75. So this is the amount. Now you can see that the formula is a bit different for your short. Okay, this is also something that you have studied. The short payoff is calculated by F minus S. So this is what is happening, F minus Yes, so this is the gain that you have realized in your futures contract. Now, what will happen in the actual market? In the actual market, because the price of oil is now 75, when you sell the 1 million barrel oils, you will get this much because you will have to sell it at the price that is going in the market. But what is your net position? Your net position is that you have received 75 from here and you have received 4 from there. So in total, you have received 79 because you've realized gain over here. So even though the price went down, from here the gain has offset it and you are still receiving the price that you wanted. Now assume that the spot price on August 15 proves to be 85 per barrel. Again, your price is set at 79. So think again. Your contract says that you can sell it for 79, whereas everybody else is going to be selling it for 85. So in this case, you have made a loss on your futures contract of -6, and you have received 1 million times 85. So you have received what was in the market and you would have received more, but because of wait, sorry, there is a typo over here. This should be 85. So you should have received more because the price was higher, but because you have hedged your position, your profit is also now limited. So even though you would have received more because of the loss that you have made over here, this is still set over here. So I hope this clarifies your idea of hedging, that what exactly is it. Now in hedging or whenever you're using any derivative instruments, the biggest risk that is present is called basis risk. Basis risk is a financial risk that the offsetting investments in a hedging strategy will not experience price changes in entirely opposite directions from each other. This imperfect correlation between the two investments creates a potential for excess gains or losses in a hedging strategy, thus adding risk to the position. And you can calculate it by the spot price of the asset to be hedged minus the futures price of the contract used. Basically, what this risk is, well, here you can see the diagram. So when you go into the contract, the future price is going to be different and the price in the spot market is going to be different because the future price is for the future, right? And the cash price, the spot price is the current price. So the difference between them is called the basis risk. Now with time, the theory suggests that the cash price and the future price, they tend to converge, and when the time for expiration of the future contract comes, they are likely going to cover each other. But that might not happen. It might be that the future price goes down even more or the cash price goes up even more. That can also happen in the market. So that risk is called basis risk. So what was the basis risk in our previous examples and what would be the impact in that case? So let's go to the first example. Over here, you can see that the spot price was 340 and the futures price was 320. This is the basis risk over here.